Listen carefully, because this is not a seminar for the faint of heart. This is a kingdom briefing. The marketplace today is a crowded grill, smoke everywhere, sizzle everywhere, the smell of burgers everywhere. Same bun, same patty, same sauce with a different label, same discount sign in the window, and the result is noise, confusion, and exhaustion. People slashing prices like they're slicing onions, not because they carry less value, but because they carry the same burger as everybody else. Write this down. If you sell the same burger as everybody else, you will compete on price. And price competition is a race to the bottom where excellence suffocates and purpose starves. Tell your neighbor, stop copying burgers, find your Whopper. Say it out loud this time like you believe it. Stop copying burgers, find your Whopper. Differentiation is not a marketing trick. It is a responsibility of purpose. It is your stewardship assignment. The God who said in Genesis 1:28, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion, was not suggesting a hobby. He was authorizing a mandate. Fruitfulness is production. Produce something distinct. Multiplication is replication. Standardize it. Replenishing is distribution. Get it everywhere that matters. Subduing is control. Set the standard. And dominion is the outcome, become the default. But hear me, there is no dominion in duplication. Copies compete. Originals command. I came to correct you lovingly today. Many of you are not failing because you lack talent. You are failing because you lack focus. You keep changing the menu every quarter, then blame the market when no one remembers what you sell. One day it's vegan sliders. Next month it's barbecue brisket. By Christmas it's sushi burgers and a waffle cone. Stop it. Write this down. The market cannot remember a moving target. Consumers are busy. They're not assigned to figure you out. Your assignment is to define yourself so clearly that when your domain is mentioned, your name is remembered first. Here is the question we must answer plainly, without mystical smoke. How do you choose and master a niche so thoroughly that the market thinks of you first, without chasing every trend, without zigzagging after every viral video, without repainting your sign every weekend? That is why we are here. Leadership, hear my definition now. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, produced by a conviction, birthed by a purpose. Turn it upside down. Start with purpose. If you don't know why you exist in the market, you will borrow everybody else's why. And when you borrow why, you end up selling borrowed burgers cheap, forgettable, exhausting. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. In business language, where there is no vision, the brand perishes, the margins die, and the owner burns out. Sight will make you copy what's trending. Vision will make you create what's missing. Listen, entrepreneurs with vision look at the grill and say, there are 1,000 burgers, but none like the one inside me. That's the Whopper within. The Whopper is not a patty, it is a category you own. It's a taste no one can replicate because it is flavored by your assignment. Write this down. Your Whopper is the fruit of your purpose. Standardized into a product the market can crave. Let me press you a bit more. If you don't deploy yourself, you will be employed by someone who deployed themselves. Nothing wrong with employment for a season, but it is a tragedy to retire from another person's vision while your Whopper stayed uncooked. Some of you are in price wars because you surrendered your difference to fit in. You keep asking, what are they doing? Better question, what was I born to do? That when excellently done makes their imitation irrelevant. Every problem is a business, and in a world of copycats, uniqueness is a solution. That is why companies that own a singular flavor don't discount. They define. They don't beg. They benchmark. They don't shout. They standardize. I remember walking past a row of food stalls in a bustling city, 10 in a row, all selling the best burger. Steam on the glass, photos on the boards, loudspeakers blasting specials. But only one had a line around the corner. The sign didn't say best burger, it said home of the flaming mango pepper burger. That vendor wasn't in the burger business, they were in the flaming mango pepper experience. That's not a trick, that's stewardship. They translated difference into dominance. Everyone else was shouting. They were remembered. Write this down. The market pays a premium for what it can predict and remember. So, what will we do together? Over these sessions, we will move you from copycat confusion to kingdom clarity. We will expose the clutter on your menu and reveal the one dish that deserves a crown. We will walk through the laws you find in Genesis 1:28. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion, and apply them to your brand until your Whopper leaves your kitchen, repeats in other kitchens, shows up everywhere your people live, and becomes the standard everyone else tries to explain. But we begin here with humility and honesty. I cannot rule a domain I refuse to define. Say it with me. I will define my domain. Now, let me be pastoral and practical. Some of you are waiting on a miracle while God is waiting on a menu. Be fruitful means produce. Stop admiring your idea and cook it. The world doesn't eat seeds. The world eats fruit. We will get to seed and fruit later. But here the foundation. Your fruit must be signature. When they taste it, they must know it's you. That's how you escape price warfare. Signature fruit, clearly named, consistently delivered. Here is my promise and my charge. By the end of this journey, you will write what I call your Whopper statement, a one-sentence declaration that names the category you will own and the standard you will set. It will be clear enough to guide what you build, what you teach, and what you sell. It will end the confusion. It will cancel the trend chasing. It will give you courage to say no to everything that is not your flame. And it will position you for dominion, because dominion belongs to the distinct, not the duplicated. Tell your neighbor one more time, like a commissioning. Stop copying burgers. Find your Whopper. And say this over your business, your brand, your gift. I was born to master a domain. I will cook my difference. I will standardize my flavor. I will become the first name they think of. Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. That is not a slogan. That is your operating system. Now, sharpen your pencil, clear your menu, and prepare your heart. We are about to move from noise to name, from price to premium, from burger to Whopper. Now lean in. Because if you miss this, you will spend your life repainting the sign on a restaurant no one is called to visit. Purpose before product. You were born to master something. Say it with me, write it down, and say it again. I was born to master something. Dominion is tied to design, not to random ambition. Genesis 1:26 does not begin with marketing. It begins with image and likeness in design, and then gives assignment. And let them have dominion. You do not chase dominion. You discover, design, and dominion follows design. The product is a consequence of purpose. The Whopper is the fruit of identity. Hear the word of the Lord to Jeremiah and receive it as a mirror for your own soul. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I ordained thee. Jeremiah 1-5. Ordained to what? To an assignment specific enough to offend imitation. Ephesians 2:10 adds, for we are his workmanship, his custom build, his prototype, created in Christ Jesus unto good works, which God had before ordained that we should walk in them. Preordained works mean pre-fitted design. That's why copying is not just lazy, it's a purpose problem. When you don't know what you were created to solve, you borrow other people's solutions and call it strategy. Strategy without purpose becomes scavenging. Write this down. When purpose is unknown, imitation feels like wisdom. Let me pastor you and provoke you. You are not an accident in the economy. You are necessary. Say it out loud with courage. I am necessary. Romans 8:19 says, the earnest expectation of the creature waited for the manifestation of the sons of God. The market is not waiting for another generic burger. It is groaning for a son or daughter to manifest the design they carried before birth. The eye cannot say to the hand, I have no need of thee. 1 Corinthians 12:21. The head needs the hand. The hand needs the foot. The market needs your mastery. If you don't deploy yourself, you will be employed by someone who did. Employment may be a chapter, but deployment is your book. So the question shifts now from what can I sell to what problem was I designed to solve? Every problem is a business for a producer. Money follows value, and value is a problem solved with distinction. Some of you keep asking, what's trending? That's sight. Vision asks, what's missing that I cannot tolerate? Purpose reveals itself in holy irritation. Moses could not tolerate oppression. Nehemiah could not tolerate broken walls. Jesus could not tolerate lost sheep. Your domain is buried under the problem you cannot comfortably walk past. Proverbs 20:5 says, counsel in the heart of man is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. We're going to draw it out now. Mini exercise. This is surgical. Do it now. Take a fresh page. At the top, write my purpose clues. Under it, make 3 lines. Line 1, anger. Write the top 3 issues that make you righteously angry, problems you complain about, even when no one is listening. It could be sloppy customer service, confusing instructions, preventable health crises, chaotic classrooms, disorganized finances. Anger reveals an area of intended authority. Line 2, curiosity. Write the top 3 topics you research at 1 a.m. without being paid what you read about. Watch tutorials on, test and retest. Curiosity signals the field you are wired to explore deeply. Line 3, magnetic pull. Write the top 3 needs people keep bringing to you without advertising what they text you about, what they trust you to fix, what they applaud you for after every meeting. Repetition is calling in disguise. Now look across those lists and circle the one issue that appears in more than one column or echoes a theme. That overlap is a clue to the domain you were born to master. Say it. My irritation, my investigation, and my invitation point to my vocation. Let me ground this with living pictures. A high school teacher in our city could not stand how textbooks buried simple truth under jargon. That anger met her midnight curiosity for visual design, and people kept asking her to make this simple. She stopped copying other curriculum companies and built plain talk science. 1 page, 1 picture, 1 metaphor, her whopper. She didn't choose a niche to be cute. She obeyed design to be effective. A barber I met would lose sleep over crooked hairlines and patchy beards. That's anger. He watched hours of dermatology lectures for fun. That's curiosity. Men kept asking him to fix hairline damage from other shops. That's pull. He built a micro brand around non-surgical hairline restoration and precision mapping. He wasn't in the haircut business. He was in the confidence restoration business for men's hairlines. Purpose produces fruit. Fruit attracts demand. Listen, purpose clarifies the no. Until you know what you are here to master, you will chase everything that pays and become a slave to invoices. Purpose liberates you from hustle because it gives you a filter. My mentor definition, again, write it down and flip it as I have taught you. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, produced by a conviction, birthed by a purpose. Turn it upside down. Start with purpose. It births conviction. This is my assignment. Conviction produces vision. I see my solution clearly. Vision generates passion, fire to endure the training. Passion fuels inspiration others want to follow. Influence becomes inevitable and leadership emerges. You don't fake leadership. You bear it as fruit from purpose. Genesis 1:28 is still our operating system, but do not rush to multiply what you have not defined. Be fruitful. Be productive out of purpose. Fruitfulness is not busyness, it is precise production from design. Multiplication without purpose creates franchise confusion. Replenishing without purpose floods the earth with noise. Subduing without purpose becomes oppression instead of standard setting. Dominion without purpose becomes ego. Purpose is the root, product is the branch, profit is the leaf. Do not tape leaves to a dead branch and call it prosperity. Put the root in the soil of why. I need you to stop apologizing for your specificity. Mastery requires narrowness. You were not designed to be a buffet. You were designed to own a dish. When you find that dish, your ordained problem, your shaped solution, you will no longer compete on price, because price is for commodities and you are not a commodity. Say it with strength. I am not a commodity. I am a category. Your niche is not a marketing choice first. It is a purpose discovery that reveals what you were designed to master. Marketing names it after you build it from purpose. Branding amplifies it after you prove it with fruit. Now lift your head like a king in training and declare these truths over your life. I am necessary. I was born to master something. I do not borrow destinies. I discover design. I do not ask, what can I sell? I ask, what problem was I designed to solve? My anger, my curiosity, and my repeated invitations are clues to my calling. I will draw them out. I will produce from purpose. And I will not move to multiply until my fruit is clear. We will soon talk about seed and fruit, because the world does not eat ideas, it eats value. But before we go there, sit with those three lists. Circle the overlap. Write a one-sentence description of the problem you cannot ignore. Not the solution yet, just the problem, clear as daylight. That sentence will become the womb of your whopper. Be fruitful out of design, multiply after definition. Replenish where your people live. Subdue by setting the standard. And then have dominion. This is not motivation, this is mandate. Produce something on purpose. Now let us deal with the holy difference between seed and fruit, because this is where many of you have been shouting vision and starving in execution. Genesis 1:11 says, and God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself. Seed is in the fruit. Your gift is the seed. Your product, your service, your method, your curriculum, that is the fruit. Seed is potential. Fruit is consumable value. The seed can feed your hope, but only fruit can feed your household. Write this down. The world doesn't eat seeds, the world eats fruit. Say it out loud until it offends your procrastination. The world doesn't eat seeds, the world eats fruit. Proverbs 18:16 declares, a man's gift maketh room for him, and bringeth him before great men. People misquote this as if the raw gift alone opens doors. No, your gift makes room when it is delivered as fruit. A voice is a seed, a signature message, a produced podcast, an audio book catalog that is fruit. An eye for detail is a seed, a published checklist, a quality assurance service with a guaranteed outcome that is fruit. Ideas are seeds, invoices are fruit. Write this down. Money follows value. Produce something. James says, faith without works is dead. James 2:17. Vision without production is a fantasy. Intention without iteration is a cemetery of potential. I must correct a habit that looks like progress, but is really leaf management. Mark 11 tells us Jesus approached a fig tree full of leaves but found no fruit. He cursed the pretense. Many of you have leaves websites, logos, mood boards, brand colors, a coming soon page for 3 years, but when the market comes hungry, there is nothing to eat. God is not impressed with leafy noise. He is looking for edible proof. Psalm 1 says, the righteous bringeth forth his fruit in his season. Not announcements, fruit. Not opinions, fruit. Not endless courses about starting fruit. Produce something. Your whopper is not a slogan. It is fruit the market can identify, request, and recommend. Psalm 34:8 says, oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Taste, then see. People do not see your goodness until they taste your fruit. Slogans are smoke without substance. Fruit is substance that creates its own smoke. Ask any great brand, their whopper is a repeatable, nameable experience. They don't just say we're great at customer success. They say we deliver a 30-day churn rescue protocol fruit. They don't just say we teach leadership. They say we install a 1-2 week influence system that cuts meetings by 25%. Fruit. Fruit can be ordered, tracked, reviewed, and referred. Let me put this in your kitchen. Seed looks like this. I'm good with spreadsheets. Fruit looks like this. The 5-minute CFO dashboard. A plug-and-play template with a 1-0-step setup video and monthly update service. Seed says, I love fitness. Fruit says, the 2-1. Day desk worker reset. No gym required. 3-1. 2-minute protocols. Posture repair included. Seed says, I'm passionate about helping teams communicate. Fruit says, speak up. A 6-module curriculum for 9th graders with teacher scripts, rubrics, and a showcase night playbook. Are you getting this? The same seed can produce many kinds of fruit if you choose a form. Write this down. Choose a fruit form. Here is a mini exercise, and I want you to do it now, because procrastination is a thief dressed like research. Take one seed, one gift, one skill, one idea that won't leave you alone. Under it, write fruit form. Choose one from this menu: a named framework, a template, a method, a program, a productized service, a tool, or a curriculum. Now finish this sentence in one clear line. The fruit I will produce is, name it, a form that does specific promise for specific people in specific time format. Example: the fruit I will produce is the clean inbox method, a 4-step framework that takes founders from 3,000 emails to 0 in 48 hours with a 1-4-day relapse guard. Now say it out loud. Your mouth is the first factory. Do not wait on permission to produce. Heaven already commanded it. Be fruitful was not a suggestion. It was a manufacturing order. If you don't deploy yourself, you will be employed to help someone else harvest their orchard. And listen, fruit doesn't have to be perfect to be edible. It has to be consistent, safe, and named. Perfectionism is a pesticide that kills the tree. Ship a minimum viable fruit within 14 days. The first template, the first checklist, the first module, the first 30-minute paid consult with a defined deliverable. Ask 3 people in your target audience to taste and tell the truth. Their feedback is fertilizer, not failure. Let me show you how fruit births multiplication. Remember, Genesis 1:11, seed is in the fruit. When your fruit is clear, it carries the seed for replication and referral inside it. The cookie lady does not multiply because she has an idea about cookies. She multiplies because she has a tested recipe, a named flavor, a packaging standard, and a delivery rhythm. The fruit itself teaches others how to bake it again. McDonald's did not scale ideas. They scaled a systematized fruit, the same taste, the same size, the same wrapper. Fruit becomes a standard. Standards can be distributed. This is why your Whopper must be more than poetry. It must be a package with a promise. Let's ground this with a living parable. A young woman told me, "Doctor, my seed is compassion for caregivers." I said, "Compassion doesn't pay bills. Fruit does." What's the fruit? We walked it through. She built relief in a box, a monthly toolkit for family caregivers, a 7-day meal plan with a grocery list, 310-minute stress resets, a medication chart, and a hotline call once a month. She named it, priced it, and produced a pilot for 8 families. Fruit. The market tasted, wept, and subscribed. Her seed became sustenance. Say it with me. My seed is holy. My fruit is necessary. Now bridge this revelation back to your Whopper. Your Whopper is the fruit form your market can crave by name. It has a signature. People must be able to say, "Give me their X. I need a 9-0. Minute offer makeover. Call the guy with the 5-point safety audit. Get the flaming mango pepper burger." If they can't ask for it, you haven't finished it. If they can't recommend it without you in the room, you haven't packaged it. Write this down. If it's not nameable, it's not scalable. Name it. Standardize it. Then let us multiply it. Here's your immediate action list. Because we are not entertaining you, we are deploying you. 1. Pick one seed and convert it into one fruit form today. 2. Write a 1-sentence promise that names the outcome, the people, and the timeline. 3. Outline the first 3 steps your customer will take to experience the fruit. 4. Price it at a level that makes you take quality seriously. 5. Ship a test version in 14 days and collect 3 testimonials. Those 5 moves will drag you out of the land of leaves into the land of fruit. Before we move on, lift your head and declare with me. Because identity precedes industry. I am a producer, not just a planner. I convert seeds into fruit. Money follows value through me. My whopper will be tasteable, nameable, repeatable. I will be fruitful, then multiply. And I will not apologize for shipping my fruit before it's famous. Now write it down, say it out loud, and get to the kitchen. The market is hungry, and your tree is overdue. Now listen with your spirit, because this will save you years. Sight reports what is. Vision reveals what must be built. Sight makes you copy. Vision makes you create. And dominion belongs to creators, not imitators. Proverbs 29:18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Business translation, where there is no vision, a brand becomes common. A product becomes a commodity. And the founder becomes a beggar. Write this down. Trends are the trophies of people who trusted sight. Standards are the harvest of people who obeyed vision. Sight is your eyes telling you everyone is doing reels. Everyone is offering a $27 tripwire. Everyone is promising 10x in 10 days. Do that. Vision is your spirit telling you you were born to standardize a flavor no one has tasted yet. Build that. 2 Corinthians 4:18 instructs us. We look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. Think about that. Successful people stare at what isn't visible yet until it becomes inevitable. Sight produces imitation because it compares. Vision produces innovation because it conceives. Say this softly to yourself, then louder till it registers. I am not here to compare. I am here to conceive. Trend chasing is not strategy. It is fear dressed like research. People follow what's visible because they don't trust what God hid inside them. Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Meaning, your invisible conviction must become the raw material of your visible construction. If your confidence is in the feed, your future belongs to the algorithm. If your confidence is in the assignment, your future bows to your obedience. Write this down. Do not rent relevance from trends. Own relevance by setting standards. Consider Israel's spies in Numbers 13. 10 men walked by sight and said, we saw giants. We were as grasshoppers. Joshua and Caleb walked by vision and said, we are well able. Same territory. 2 different reports. Sight saw opposition. Vision saw occupation. Entrepreneurs who rule do not deny giants. They define them as proof of a promised domain. Are you getting this? The greater the giant, the clearer the category. Giants, God, promised land. They don't block it. Vision is how you walk past them and plant your flag. Let me be corrective and kind. Some of you are exhausted not because business is hard, but because mimicry is heavy. Copying everyone requires constant surveillance. Vision is lighter because it narrows your lane. The goal is not to be known by everyone. The goal is to be first in something. If you can be replaced easily, you have not defined your domain. Jesus said in John 10, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. Your market should hear your voice in a sentence and say, that's them. First in something beats famous in nothing. Write it down. Obscurity in a clear category outperforms popularity in confusion. Practical test. Do this today. Scroll your feed and pick 20 offers similar to yours. Now, without the logos, could we swap your copy, your promise, your price, and your process with any of them and nothing would break? If yes, you are selling a burger. If no, if your promise is so specific, your method so named, your flavor so distinct that swapping would feel like lying, you are building a whopper. Sight-led brands are legible only by color and font. Vision-led brands are legible by promise and proof. Tell your neighbor, stop repainting the sign, rewrite the standard. Habakkuk 2:2 says, write the vision and make it plain that he may run that readeth it. Why write? Because written vision restrains wandering eyes. A written plain vision is a leash on your sight. When a trend shouts, your vision says, we don't do that. This is what we build. When a competitor discounts, your vision says, we don't beg, we benchmark. When a new platform emerges, your vision asks, can it multiply my whopper? If yes, we use it. If no, we wave at it while we work. That is how kings behave, measured, mandated, immovable. Let me illustrate. Years ago, a young designer in our network kept flipping her offer every quarter, logos one month, websites the next, brand audits after that. She was tired, underpaid, and invisible. We sat down and asked, what do you see that others don't? She said, I can map a company's language so customers know exactly what to say back. That's vision. We named it echo mapping, a 3-week process that extracts customer phrases, tags them to stages of the journey, and delivers a lexicon the whole company uses. She stopped chasing design trends and owned a linguistic standard. Within 6 months, when startups said, we need echo mapping, they meant her. She was no longer competing on fonts. She was ruling on language. Vision made her a king in a narrow kingdom. Your devotion to vision must become a daily discipline. Every morning ask, what would future me, the dominion version of me, shift today? Sight will answer with panic and pace. Vision will answer with precision and patience. Kings don't sprint after car horns. They build roads. You are not behind. You are being refined. If you keep your eyes on your lane, you will lap those who keep staring at yours. Write this down. Depth defeats speed. Standards outlast sprints. Now, I need to pastor your identity because identity drives decisions. Say this out loud. I will not build my future based on what I see today. I will build it based on what I was born to do. Say it again with steel in your spirit. One more time. Like you are serving notice to fear. That declaration disconnects you from the tyranny of timelines and ties you to the truth of design. When you build by vision, your calendar submits to your calling, not to the chaos of trends. Here is your action for the next 7 days, a vision fast. Choose one area of your business where sight has been loud: pricing, packaging, posting, or product scope. For 7 days, do not consume competitor content in that area. Instead, read your written Whopper drafts. Meditate on Genesis 1:28 and ask, what standard am I here to set? On day 7, write one sentence that names the non-negotiable standard you will own. That sentence becomes the rail your train will run on when trends try to derail you. Elisha's servant in 2 Kings 6 was terrified by what he saw: horses and chariots surrounding the city. Elisha prayed, Lord, open his eyes that he may see. And he saw hills full of horses and chariots of fire. Sight said, we're outnumbered. Vision said, we're outflanked in our favor. May the Lord open your inner eyes now. May you see your category with clarity, your people with precision, your whopper with courage. Be fruitful, create from vision. Multiply, standardize vision, replenish, distribute vision, subdue, enforce vision, then have dominion become the default because you refuse to be a duplicate. Now, write that vision, make it plain, and run. The market is tired of trends. It is waiting for a king. Now, hear me clearly. Genesis 1:28 is not religious poetry. It is a market operating system. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion. 5 laws, 1 sequence, not optional, not seasonal, lawful. Write this down. Dominion is not luck, it is lawful. Produce, replicate, distribute, control, then dominate. This is the verse Bill Gates used without quoting it. This is the verse Stephen Jobs practiced without preaching it. This is the verse McDonald's baked into their assembly line. And it is the verse that will rescue you from random hustle and install you in rule if you honor the order. Law 1, be fruitful. Fruitful means produce something valuable from your design, tangible, nameable, consumable fruit. Not leaves. Fruit with a promise, a process, and proof. In business language, create value. Before you market, make. Before you post, produce. Fruit is your whopper in seed form. A single signature experience the market can ask for by name and describe without you in the room. It has a defined outcome, a consistent method, and a standard of quality. If you skip fruitfulness, everything else becomes noise. Proverbs 22:29 says, seest thou a man diligent in his business, he shall stand before kings. Diligence where? In producing fruit. Tell your neighbor, produce something. Law 2, multiply. Multiplication is not bigger, it's repeatable. Whose seed is in itself. Genesis 1:11 taught us seed is in the fruit. Once you have fruit, you extract the seed, your recipe, your framework, your SOPs, and you replicate value without starting from zero. In business terms, systematize and scale. Document the steps, name the stages, create checklists, train others, license the method, certify the implementers, build quality control so the fruit tastes the same in every season. This is why McDonald's wins. Not because their burger is the best, but because their burger is the same. Write this down. If it isn't repeatable, it isn't multipliable. Law 3, replenish the earth. Replenish means fill the territory with your fruit. Distribution. Place your Whopper in the places your people already live. Geographies, platforms, partnerships, stores, feeds, inboxes. It is not enough to have value. Value must be visible and reachable. Walmart, replenish by becoming everywhere that matters for the masses. Spotify, replenish by sitting in your pocket. The Apostle Paul understood replenishing when he said, so that from Jerusalem and round about unto Illyricum I have fully preached the gospel. Romans 15:19. Territory, coverage, saturation. Write this down. Presence is a product, design it. Law 4, subdue. Subdue means control the environment where your fruit operates. Set standards, define language, own channels, and enforce quality. In commerce, become the reference. You become the dictionary. Others must consult. The certification buyers require. The checklist auditors use. Daniel 1:20 says that Daniel and his friends were found 10 times better than their peers. That's a standard. When you subdue, you write the rubric. What on time means. What premium means. What grass-fed actually certifies. What echo mapping delivers. You trademark the terms. You guard the supply chain. You establish the buyer's criteria. You create the test, then grade the papers. Say it. I will be the standard. Law 5. Have dominion. Dominion is when your name becomes shorthand for the solution. You stop begging, the market starts defaulting. You don't chase every client. Clients pre-qualified to meet your bar. Google it, Uber it, pass me a Kleenex, order the Whopper. Default status happens after you produce fruit, replicate it, distribute it, and control its standards so thoroughly that choosing you feels like choosing common sense. Psalm 110:2 says, rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Dominion does not require the absence of competitors. It requires the presence of non-negotiable standards that others follow. Now let me map these to modern behavior so you can stop wandering and start winning. Fruitful equals create one signature offer with a name, a promise, and a process. Multiply equals turn that offer into a system with SOPs, training, and QA so it can be delivered by you and by others at the same standard. Replenish equals select 3 distribution channels that match your people. Maybe a DTC store, a B2B reseller, and a monthly webinar, and build presence until your people trip over you. Subdue equals publish the standard, a buyer's guide, a glossary of your category, a certification for implementers, and a quarterly benchmark report that others quote. Dominion equals your category name is associated with you. Your inbox is filled with, we heard, you're the one. Let me bring Burger King into the classroom. In a world of burgers, they didn't try to own burgers generically. They named and owned a signature Whopper. That is subcategory dominion within a crowded market. You may not win marketing broadly. You can own post-transaction churn rescue. You may not own fitness. You can own desk worker spine reset. You may not win education. You can own one-page science metaphors. Do not try to be average in all categories. Be a king in one. Write this down. Categories are empires. Subcategories are kingdoms. Own a kingdom. I must warn you, skipping steps creates collapse. Some of you are trying to subdue without replenishing. You want to write standards for an experience no one has tasted. That's tyranny, not leadership. Others are trying to replenish without multiplying, going viral with a one-off handcrafted product. You flood your inbox and drown in delivery because you never extracted the seed from the fruit. Some are chasing dominion before they are fruitful branding, billboards, and big talk with nothing edible behind it. That's a fig tree with leaves. Jesus cursed that. Proverbs 19:2 says, also, that the soul be without knowledge, it is not good, and he that hasteth with his feet sinneth. Haste without order is sin against your assignment. Here is a living parable. A young founder I met went viral on a thread about budgeting tips. 2 million views in 48 hours. Replenish without fruit. Her DMs exploded. She tried to build a course in a weekend, hired random freelancers, and launched a live program with no curriculum, no outcomes, no QA, burnout, refunds, reputational scar. We met and I walked her through the laws. First, we crafted fruit. The 7-day money map, a template plus coaching kit with a single outcome and a named process. Then we multiplied SOPs, scripts, checklists, and a coach certification. Then we replenished intentionally. 1 weekly webinar, 2 podcast partners, 1 employer benefits channel. Then we subdued a personal budgeting standard, PDF, adopted by HR teams, a glossary, emergency fund, define, sinking fund, define, and a quarterly report on behavior change. 6 months later, she wasn't chasing views. Companies were chasing her standard. Dominion follows law, not luck. Practical handles, because revelation demands implementation. For fruitfulness, name your Whopper fruit and write a 1-sentence promise with an outcome, a timeline, and a boundary of who it is for. Build the minimum viable fruit in 14 days. For multiplication, outline the delivery steps, record loom videos, create templates, and run 3 deliveries to test consistency. For replenishing, pick your top 3 channels and build a 90-day cadence for each with metrics of reach and conversion. For subduing, write your category glossary, your buyer's checklist, your guarantee terms, and your certification requirements. Publish them. For dominion, gather proof case studies, before, after metrics, third-party mentions, and keep repeating the fruit, not changing the dish every month. Some of you say, but doctor, what if someone copies my fruit? That is why subdue precedes dominion. Thieves can copy appearance, they cannot copy standards established in public with proof. When you set the glossary, when you brand the method, when you certify the implementers, when you publish the benchmarks, the market uses your language to judge the copycats, and guess who wins? The one who authored the test. Isaiah 60 says, Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. Light is clarity, standards of brightness. Shine with standards, rise with systems. I want you to say this so your soul remembers. I will honor the order. Be fruitful, produce something. Multiply, make it repeat, replenish, place it everywhere that matters. Subdue, set the standard, have dominion become the default. Again with conviction. One more time until your fear resigns. This is how kings are made in the marketplace. Not by charisma, but by compliance with kingdom law. Now, if these are the laws, then your Whopper is the fruit you will multiply and distribute until you control a territory. We will define it with precision. We will package it with promise. And we will build the rails for it to run across cities, platforms, and partnerships. Your days of scattered hustle are over. The sequence has found you. Obey it, and the market will recognize your crown. Now, if the sequence is clear, the sentence must be clearer. Your market will not follow a fog. 1 Corinthians 14:8 says, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? Dominion requires a clear sound. Your Whopper is that sound. Listen, your Whopper is not a bigger effort. It is a sharper identity. It is the one thing you do so specifically, so consistently, and so memorably that when the market thinks of that outcome, it thinks of your name without effort. Write this down. The Whopper is ownership of a category in a sentence. Let me correct with kindness. Some of you are gifted at many things, and that is beautiful, but trying to sell all of them is confusion. James 1-8 warns, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Multiply that by 10 platforms and you have brand vertigo. Being multi-talented is a blessing. Attempting to monetize every talent at once is a curse. Mastery requires narrowing. Narrowing deepens. Depth commands first place. You can play 5 instruments, but the orchestra pays the first chair. You can cook 10 dishes, but the line outside is for the signature. Stop apologizing for choosing one lane. Start repenting for selling confusion. Say it. I will narrow to rule. Proverbs 18:16 declares, a man's gift maketh room for him. Room for what? For a throne in a room. You don't have to rent. But the gift must be framed in a way the market can buy. Seed must become fruit. Fruit must be named. The name must be clear. Jesus modeled this clarity. In Luke 4:43, he said, I must preach the kingdom of God to other cities also, for therefore am I sent. One sentence. Assignment. Cities. Focus. He did many miracles, but he owned his category with a sentence. If the King of Kings used a sentence, why are you using a paragraph? Write this down. Identity in one sentence is authority in one category. Here is the formula. Say it with me. Then write it like a contract you will honor with your life. I help specific person achieve specific outcome through unique mechanism so they can meaningful transformation. Again, slower, so your spirit can etch it. I help a specific person achieve a specific outcome through unique mechanism so they can. Meaningful transformation. This is not marketing poetry. This is strategic sovereignty. It tells the market who you're for, what you deliver, how you do it, and why it matters. Let me illustrate before we workshop. Not I do marketing. That's a burger. Whopper, I help DTC skincare brands cut post-purchase churn by 30% in 90 days through my first 7 days ritual onboarding framework so they can grow LTV without paid ads. Not I teach fitness. Whopper, I help desk-bound software engineers eliminate back pain in 21 days through my spine reset microflows so they can code without meds and reclaim 2 hours a day. Not I write resumes. Whopper, I help senior nurses land unit lead roles in 60 days through my clinical impact storyline method so they can stop shift spinning and leave with weekends free. Do you feel the difference? The sentence carves a kingdom. The name brands the mechanism. The timeline and metric make it measurable. The transformation makes it meaningful. That is a whopper. Now let's workshop. Right here, right now, take a deep breath. We are switching from inspiration to inscription. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain. First draft, write your sentence using the formula, general but honest. Don't perform, reveal. Second draft, narrow the person. Take business owners and make it 6-figure online course creators or brick and mortar dentists with 2 locations. Third draft, narrow the outcome. Replace more revenue with $100K in 100 days. Or reduce refund rate to under 2%. Name your mechanism. If you don't have a name yet, create one now. When you name your method, you own a lane. Do it. Then state the transformation in human language. Time back, stress down, confidence up, family dinners return. Now, look at your 3 drafts and circle the one that is most narrow, most measurable, and most repeatable. That is your candidate whopper. Here's how you test it. 1, the phone test. Can a stranger repeat your sentence after hearing it once? If not, it's too complex. 2, the filter test. Does this sentence instantly tell you who not to serve? If not, it's too broad. 3, the calendar test. Can this be delivered weekly without reinvention? If not, it's not a whopper, it's a hobby. Whoppers are built for repetition. 4, the proof test. Can you measure the outcome within a defined time? If not, it's inspiration without instrumentation. Leadership is influenced through inspiration, yes. But in the marketplace, inspiration needs instrumentation. Now, we strengthen the sentence with boundaries. Listen carefully. A whopper is protected by what you refuse to sell. Boundaries are brand armor. Proverbs 22:28 says, remove not the ancient landmark. Landmarks define territory. Boundaries preserve dominion. Decide today 3 offers, topics, or services you will stop promoting because they dilute your kingdom. Maybe you stop custom one-off work that doesn't use your mechanism. Maybe you stop generic strategy calls that promise everything and guarantee nothing. Maybe you stop making content for audiences that are not your specific person. Write them, say them, and honor them. Say this out loud. I strengthen my whopper by what I exclude. Again, I will not sell what weakens my standard. A story to stir your courage. A young woman in our circle could do it all. Social posts, websites, logos, ads. She was busy and broke. We found her seed. She could spot patterns in customer language and craft scripts that converted in voice messages. We named her mechanism Vox Close, a 7-message sequence delivered in 48 hours. Her whopper sentence became, I help course creators close 25% more in DMs in 2 weeks through my Vox Close 7-message sequence so they can fill cohorts with our webinars. Then we drew boundaries. No websites, no logos, no copy outside the 7 messages. In 90 days, she raised prices, hired a certified implementer, and turned down projects that didn't fit. Her market started saying, we need Vox Close, and that meant her. The sentence created the standard created demand, and the boundaries protected the crown. Let me pastor your identity for a moment. Because courage is required to say no. Say this with me. I am not starving. I am specializing. I am not losing options. I am gaining ownership. I am not rejecting money. I am rejecting confusion. Luke 4 shows Jesus leaving crowds in one city to go to others because of assignment. Dominion flows to those who can walk away from good to guard great. Your whopper will not grow if you keep feeding distractions. Now, let's finalize. Read your chosen sentence aloud 3 times. If you stumble, simplify. Replace adjectives with numbers. Replace jargon with verbs. Make it concrete enough that a 12-year-old could paraphrase it. Then, write the 3 exclusions you will honor for the next 90 days. Place them beneath your sentence like a fence around a garden. Next, name your unique mechanism. Trademark it if wise. Teach it. Put it on your website. Put it on your invoice. Put it on your calendar. If it is not in the sentence, it does not go on the schedule. That is how kings keep their crowns. Clarity governs commitments. Here is your 7-day action plan. Day 1, write 3 versions. Day 2, choose the narrowest and measurable one and name your mechanism. Day 3, declare your 3 exclusions publicly to your team, to your clients, to your audience. Day 4, update your homepage, profiles, and email signature with the whopper sentence. Day 5, script a 5-minute explanation video of your mechanism and invite 3 ideal clients to watch. Day 6, deliver your mechanism once and measure every step. Day 7, review metrics and refine the sentence by removing 1 word that adds fluff but no force. At the end of these 7 days, you will feel lighter, louder, and more leader-like because your trumpet will no longer be uncertain. John 18:37 records Jesus saying, to this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world. That is a whopper sentence. To this end, for this cause. May you find your end and your cause in a sentence that makes the market say, that's them. Now, lift your voice and declare, my whopper is my own category. 1 clear sentence that tells the market what I am the first choice for. I will write it, say it, guard it, and build it until it becomes the market's default. Be fruitful. Form the sentence. Multiply. Teach the mechanism. Replenish. Place the sentence everywhere that matters. Subdue. Exclude the noise. Then have dominion become the name we all see when we desire that outcome. Write it now, King, and let the earth make room. Your sentence will not save you if your schedule will not serve you. Clarity without consistency is a crown without a head. Listen to me. Dominion is rented and the rent is due every morning. Write that down. Psalm 5:3 says, my voice shalt thou hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning will I direct my prayer unto thee. Mark 1:35 says of Jesus, and in the morning, rising up a great while before day, he went out and there prayed. The King of Kings paid morning rent. Why are you sleeping through your lease? You say you want to be remembered first, then outtrain yesterday's you. First place is a function of first hour. Say it. My mornings are my marketplace. Let me correct this fantasy with love. Many want dominion without discipline. You want to be uncommon with common habits. You want the market to name you first, but you won't show up first to your own assignment. Proverbs 6:9 asks, how long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard? That is not an insult. It is an intervention. Leaders are not late to their lives. Every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Paul wrote in 1 Corinthians 9:25. Temperate means controlled, trained, moderated, scheduled. Mastery is not random. It is ritual. Champions are not lucky. They are lawful. Tiger hits balls when others hit snooze. Builders pour foundations at dawn, so the concrete cures by noon. Speakers rehearse before breakfast, so their words carry weight by noon. If your habits are casual, your crown will be too. Here is the covenant I want you to cut with your assignment. 1 hour every morning before you serve anyone else, before you read comments, before you scroll, you pay the rent. 60 minutes as tithe to your dominion, not occasionally, daily. Job 38:12 asked, hast thou commanded the morning since thy days? Command it. Do not negotiate with it. Set a chair, set a time, set a timer, and meet your future on purpose. Say it. My morning is non-negotiable. Break the hour into 3 tracks. Knowledge, practice, proof. This is how you become first in the mind, because you are first in the grind. Track 1, knowledge. 20 minutes to learn with precision. Not random YouTube grazing, not trend chasing, specialized acquisition. Proverbs 24:5 says, a wise man is strong. Yea, a man of knowledge increaseth strength. Strength for what? For standards. Read 1 chapter from a core text in your domain, 1 peer-reviewed case, 1 playbook from a category leader. Annotate, build your glossary. Add 1 definition to your category language every day. Remember, the one who defines the words defines the world. If you are the spine reset microflows expert, study biomechanics. If you are the first 7 days ritual creator, study behavioral onboarding. If you are Vox close, study conversational psychology. Write this down. Specificity of study creates specificity of standard. Track 2, practice. 20 minutes of deliberate drills, not busy work, bullseye work. Choose 1 sub-skill and isolate it. If your Whopper is onboarding, run the day 1 email subject line drill 10 times and measure open rates from past data. If your Whopper is spine relief, film 1 microflow and correct alignment on frame 3. If your Whopper is DM closing, voice note the first hook 7 times until it sounds like empathy, not pitch. David did not kill Goliath with inspiration. He killed him with practiced aim. He chose 5 smooth stones, 1 Samuel 17:40, smooth by repetition. Say it. I do focus reps, not random motions. Track 3, proof. 20 minutes to create an asset that captures value. Without proof, you only have talk. Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain. Write it in case studies, in checklists, in short teaching notes, in before, after snapshots. Turn your morning drills into artifacts. Publish a 300 word micro teach. Post a 1-minute clip. Update your SOP. Step 5. Add a metric to a client dashboard. Compile a wins slide. Luke 1:3 speaks of writing in order. Proof is orderly. Proof is archivable. Proof is what your future buyers will read when they Google you at 2 a.m. Write this down. Receipts rule rooms. Do this for 90 days and watch remembrance find you. Make the covenant practical. Put your phone in airplane mode. Lay out your book and your notebook the night before. Choose your drill before you close your laptop. Name the asset you will produce before you sleep. Light a candle if you must train your senses to know this is the hour of my crown. And do not skip because you lack time. You do not find time. You allocate authority. Authority shows up by appointment. I can hear someone say, but doctor, I'm a night owl. Work your chronotype, yes, but command the first hour of your active day with the same reverence. Morning is not clock time. Morning is priority time, the first fruit of attention. When you pay the rent first, you stop living on eviction notice from distraction. Measure the movement. Mastery that cannot be measured is mythology. Choose one metric per week to beat. Reduce onboarding ticket resolution by 2 minutes. Improve email day one open by 1%. Increase DM response time by 5 minutes. Add 1 verified testimonial. Improve a mobility score by 5 degrees. Small hinges swing big doors when the hinges are moved daily. Publish your scoreboard to yourself. The mirror is honest. Tell your neighbor, I'm not guessing, I'm gauging. Let me give you a street level parable. A brother in our community owned desk workers spine reset. He could help anybody, but nobody remembered him. We cut the covenant. Morning number 1, learn. He studied the sacroiliac joint. 20 minutes. Drew 1 diagram. Practice. He ran his Microflow 3 5 times and filmed it. Proof. He posted a 4-5-second clip with a before-after of a client's reach test. Logged the data in a spreadsheet and added the step correction to his SOP. He did this 60 minutes a day, 5 days a week, for 12 weeks. What changed? Not his talent, his timetable. Not his charisma, his consistency. HR directors began sending multiple employees, not because he shouted louder, but because he stacked proof like bricks. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. Proverbs 22:29. Diligence has a clock. I want you to declare this over your life until sloth resigns and excellence reports for duty. I pay my rent in the morning. I outtrain yesterday's me. My habits are holy to my assignment. I am temperate. I am scheduled. I am first because I am faithful. Say it again. Until your body believes your mouth. Now hear the sequence ringing again. Be fruitful, your morning makes fruit. Multiply, your system replicates fruit. Replenish your assets, distribute fruit. Subdue, your proof sets the standard. Dominion, your name becomes the default. But we cannot jump steps. First we master, then we multiply. Because a Whopper that stays in your kitchen is not dominion, it's hobby. Once you have the discipline to deliver the same quality on demand, the next law beckons. Turn that quality into a system that repeats without you starting from zero. That is where we are going next. Pay the rent, then build the apartments. Now we come to the second command in the sequence. Be fruitful, multiply. Genesis 1:28 is not poetry, it is process. Fruitfulness is what you did in the morning. Multiplication is what you do with it by noon. Write this down. Multiplication is when your Whopper stops being an event and becomes a system value that repeats without you starting from zero. Say it out loud. My value repeats. Let me correct a habit that keeps you tired and invisible. Some of you keep custom cooking the burger every time. New sauce for every client. New steps for every project. New heroics for every fire. That is not multiplication. That is martyrdom. Exodus 18 records Jethro counseling Moses. The thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away. Verses 17-18. You are wearing away because you are carrying what should be codified. Systems are the memory of excellence. If it can be taught, it can be trusted. If it can be trusted, it can be multiplied. Here is the mandate. Convert your Whopper into a framework, 3 to 5 steps. Named, numbered, and navigable. Why 3 to 5? Because the mind remembers sequences, not paragraphs. Isaiah 28:10 says, precept must be upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Your framework is the precepts and lines that turn your genius into a road. Take spine reset microflows and form the fine fixed flow framework. 1. Assess posture with a 3-point diagnostic. 2. Apply microflow, 1 3-inch sequence. Verify change with 2 range of motion tests. Prescribe the 7-day maintenance loop. Or take first 7 days ritual and write the 4 A's. 1. Acknowledge welcome plus name. 2. Align, set 1 measurable promise. Activate 3, micro behaviors. 4, affirm day 7, recap plus next step. Or Vox close could be the 7 Voxes: voice, validate, vision, value, verdict, vanish, verify each message with a timestamp and a template. Name it, number it, nail it. When you can say step 1, step 2, step 3, you are ready to multiply. Now build the instruments that make your framework reproducible. Begin with a diagnostic, a 10-minute intake that tells you red, yellow, or green. If you cannot diagnose, you cannot standardize. Develop a checklist, a literal tick box list that someone other than you can follow and achieve 80% of your quality on their first try. Create SOPs, standard operating procedures with verbs, not vibes. Who does what, when, where, with which tool, and what quality check confirms it. Craft templates, emails, scripts, slides, forms, so you are not reinventing language every time. Write a microcurriculum video, modules, 1-pages, quizzes that certify a person in your method. Set onboarding day 0 to day 7 tasks for clients and for team members so the runway is the same every flight. Switch on automations, triggers in your CRM, calendar invites, reminder emails, a data capture that logs the before and after without you remembering. Write this down. Templates save time. SOPs save standard. Diagnostics save disappointment. Curriculum saves you. Tell your neighbor, stop customizing, start systemizing. But doctor, I'm a creator. I don't like structure. Then you don't like dominion. Paul told Timothy, the things that thou hast heard of me, commit thou to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. 2 Timothy 2:2. That is a 4-generation system in one sentence. Me to you, you to faithful, faithful to others. Jesus broke bread, blessed it, gave it to the disciples, and they did all eat and were filled. Matthew 14:19-20. He multiplied through distribution lines called disciples. Multiplication requires you to move from hero to architect, from performer to producer, from doer to designer. Say it. I stop being the product, I build the production. For my founders and freelancers who feel trapped by time, here is how Reproduce looks on Tuesday afternoon. You create a roll card for an implementer with the exact competencies required, tied to your framework steps. You record Loom videos of each step being done, the real screen, the real clicks, the real words. You write a grading rubric for quality, pass-fail criteria at each step. You package 3 offers as standardized bundles. Starter, 1 cycle of the framework. Standard, 2 cycles plus a review. Sovereign, 3 cycles plus certification. You install a weekly QA audit. Randomly sample 2 deliveries. Score them, correct them. You set up a sandbox project where a trainee delivers a framework under supervision before touching a client. You gather FAQs and pre-answer them in a knowledge base. By the end of this month, you should have a binder, physical or digital, that could be handed to a faithful implementer and they could start producing fruit tomorrow. If you can't hand it, you haven't multiplied it. Proof is the menu board of multiplication. When you walk into a burger shop, the board shows you what to expect. Pictures, prices, combos, case studies are your pictures. The market buys confidence, not charisma. Gather 5 proof pieces using the same structure every time. The person, who, the problem, before, the process, your name steps, the progress, metrics during, the payoff after with number, and the praise quote. Put the timeline, the obstacles, and the exact artifacts you used. If your first 7 days ritual cut churn from 18% to 11% in 30 days for a DTC brand, show the dashboard screenshot, the email sequence, the day 7 survey, and the retention curve. If Vox close rate from 12% to 28% in 2 weeks, show the message sequence timestamps and the revenue attributed. If Fine Fix Flow gave a desk worker 30 degrees more shoulder flexion in 21 days, show the range of motion video and the checklist used. Write this down. If it's not documented, it didn't happen. Your case studies are not vanity. They are velocity. They let buyers choose faster and pay higher. I will give you a quick parable from our house. A young man with a brilliant mind for onboarding kept winning when he touched accounts, but losing sleep because only his hands could deliver. We sat him down and wrote the Ritual 4A playbook, 1 page per a checklist, a swipe file, a 10-minute diagnostic, and a QA rubric. We trained 2 implementers over 2 weeks in a sandbox. Week 3, they delivered 3 clients without him, hit 85% of his quality, and he used the QA rubric to add the last 15%. In 60 days, he licensed the playbook to an agency in another city with a certification requirement. Money began to arrive where his body was not present. That is multiplication. Now, some of you need to repent of complexity. Your framework is 8 steps with mystical names and no numbers. Simplify, rename, combine, strip. Make it teachable in 20 minutes, practicable in 90, and measurable in 7 days. The simpler the steps, the stronger the standard, the faster the scale. Proverbs 15:32 says, he that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul. Don't despise your own soul by refusing your own instructions. Write them, obey them, teach them. Here is your 7-day multiplication sprint. Day 1, draft your 3 5-step framework and name each step with a verb. Day 2, build a 10-minute diagnostic with red, yellow, green outcomes and a starting metric. Day 3, write a 1-page SOP per step and record 1 loom per SOP. Day 4, create 3 templates you will use every time a kickoff email, a tracker sheet, a closeout report. Day 5, package your work into 3 standard bundles with fixed timelines and prices. Day 6, produce 1 case study in the 5-part structure and design it like a menu tile. Day 7, deliver your framework once, using only your SOPs and templates. Then score yourself with your rubric and improve 1 step. Say it, I am multiplying. I am building the machine that builds the fruit. And hear the bridge calling. When you can reproduce value, now you are ready to distribute it. Replenish the earth is next. Systems travel, manuals move. Certified people carry your whopper into territories you have never yet walked. But do not ship confusion. Ship a system. Be fruitful framework. Multiply SOPs, templates, training. Replenish, put it in every place your people live. Subdue, tighten standards. Then have dominion, the market's default, without you begging, discounting, or performing. Lift your voice. My value repeats. My proof is public. My system is simple. And my whopper is ready to travel. Be fruitful. Multiply. Now hear the 3rd command ring like a marching order. Replenish the earth. Genesis 1:28 does not say redecorate the earth. It says fill it, saturate, populate, be present. Write this down. Replenishing is not about being famous everywhere. It is about being faithfully present where your specific people already live. Stop chasing crowds. Occupy your communities. Isaiah 54:2 says, enlarge the place of thy tent, lengthen thy cords, and strengthen thy stakes. Notice the stakes strength comes from anchored presence, not scattered effort. Territory is not only geography, it is channels, platforms, rooms, newsletters, podcasts, associations, stores, inboxes. In Acts 1-8, Jesus outlined distribution zones, Jerusalem, and in all Judea, and in Samaria, and unto the uttermost part of the earth. That is not only a map, that is a model. Jerusalem is your core platform where you live daily. Judea is your secondary platform, weekly reinforcement. Samaria is partnerships, borrowed boats. The uttermost is syndication, your content and method, traveling beyond your touch. Say it, I feel my Jerusalem first. Here is the error I must correct. Many of you are thin everywhere and thick nowhere. You have 7 accounts with stale content and no schedule. You are spreading seed on concrete. Ecclesiastes 11:6 says, in the morning sow thy seed, and in the evening withhold not thine hand. But sowing implies soil, not sidewalks. Choose soil. Choose 1 core platform, 1 secondary platform, and 1 own channel. That is your tent. If your buyers scroll LinkedIn every weekday at 8 a.m., make LinkedIn your Jerusalem. If your buyers learn on YouTube on Saturdays, that is your Judea. If you want to sleep at night, your own channel, email, or SMS is your land title. Write this down. Platforms are rented land. Your list is your land. Proverbs 27:18 says, "Whoso keepeth the fig tree shall eat the fruit thereof." Keep your list. Eat your fruit. Set a cadence that respects your category. If your Whopper is the first 7 days ritual, your Jerusalem cadence might be a daily 200, 300 word post at 7:29 a.m. Titled, Day 1, Promise. Day 3, Micro Behavior. Day 7, Recap. Script, practical, screenshot ready, immediately usable. Your Judea cadence could be a weekly 8-12-minute YouTube episode. The Ritual Room, walking one brand through their first 7 days with charts. Your own channel cadence is a Thursday ritual letter that compiles the 5 daily posts, adds one case study tile, and links one template. If your Whopper is fine fixed flow, your Jerusalem might be Instagram Reels with 4 or 5 second desk relief drills. Judea, a weekly live workshop for HR managers on Zoom. And your own email, a Monday mobility metric with a printable checklist. If your Whopper is Vox Close, your Jerusalem might be daily LinkedIn voice note transcripts with timestamps. Judea, a podcast every Friday called The Verdict. And your own SMS list, a midweek Vox prompt with a copy-paste question. Say it, my presence is predictable. Distribution is not just posting, it is placing. Where do your people already gather? Write a list of 5 watering holes, the top 2 newsletters they read, the top 2 Slack or Discord communities they join, the one podcast they never miss, the one event they attend, the one marketplace they browse. Make contact. Offer a segment that serves their audience so well it becomes a fixture. In Luke 5:3, Jesus entered into one of the ships, which was Simon's, and taught the people. He borrowed a boat to reach ashore. You will borrow boats. Offer the onboarding minute as a weekly segment in a DTC newsletter. Offer a desk reset 2-minute break segment inside a popular remote work community. Offer the box test 5-minute segment at the end of a sales leaders podcast where you live coach one listener's DM thread. Partnerships are not desperation, they are distribution. Romans 10:14-15 asks, how shall they hear except they be sent? How beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace. Beautiful feet are distribution channels. Be sent into rooms that already have your buyer's ears. Let me give you a parable from our house. Amara, the builder of first 7 days ritual, chose LinkedIn as Jerusalem, YouTube as Judea, and email as her own land. She posted daily at 7:29 a.m. with a single slide and a single sentence. Promise is greater than proof is greater than prompt. After 30 days, she pitched the top DTC founder newsletter, a weekly day 1 promise breakdown, her best performing post repurposed. She did not pay, she served. Within 90 days, 11 brands booked her ritual audit, and 2 agencies asked to license her playbook. She was not everywhere. She was faithful where it mattered. Another brother, Javier, who built Vox Close, began a Friday segment on a respected SaaS sales podcast 5 minutes called The Verdict, where he read one cold DM and rewrote it live. He also placed his Vox Prompt SMS into a Slack community for startup founders as a free resource. His pipeline doubled, not because he shouted louder, but because he stood weekly in the right rooms. Do not neglect the shelves that matter in your domain. If you help desk workers be present in co-working spaces, put a QR code poster for 2-minute reset in 3 lobbies. If you coach onboarding, partner with 2 help desk software vendors to host a joint webinar and contribute a checklist to their resource library. If you close deals with voice, embed a Vox script tile in a CRM marketplace as a free add-on that links back to your training. McDonald's did not begin with 1,000 stores. They dominated a corner, then a city, then a state, standardizing fries and signs, so the highway became their channel. Replenish is territorial. Corners, corridors, shelves. Write this down. Own your corners before you chase continents. Now, let me protect you from algorithm anxiety. Platforms will change. Presence must not. Build a distribution binder that outlives trends. Your show name, your posting windows, your content types, your 3 recurring segments, your CTAs, your UTM links, your brand glossary, your visual templates, and your repurposing flow. Habakkuk 2:2 again. Write the vision and make it plain. Plain enough that an assistant or a certified implementer can distribute your fruit without diluting your flavor. If you posted daily for 30 days and nothing blew up, rejoice, you are laying bricks. Merchants who only open when a crowd forms will go bankrupt. Consistency is the currency of remembrance. Choose physical presence with the same precision. 1 flagship room per quarter where your buyers gather, an industry meetup, a trade association breakfast, a boutique conference. Not as a tourist, go as a contributor. Host a 20-minute micro workshop. The first 7 days diagnostic with live scoring. Run a 2-minute reset. Break between keynotes. Offer a Vox review booth where founders bring 1 DM thread for live tuning. Collect emails. Remember, your list is your land. Proverbs 27:23 says, Be thou diligent to know the state of thy flocks, and look well to thy herds. Your flock is your list. Nurture them weekly. Serve them first. For the next 30 days, here is your replenishing rhythm. Write that down. Map your Jerusalem. Select 1 platform and schedule 5 posts per week at a fixed time with 3 recurring segments named and numbered. Market Judea. 1 weekly long-form piece podcast, YouTube, or workshop. Guard your land. 1 weekly email or SMS that aggregates value and calls to 1 next step. Add 1 partnership pitch per week to an adjacent owner with a name segment that fits their flow. Measure 3 numbers only. Consistency %, opt-ins to your own list, and qualified inquiries. Tell your neighbor, I am not everywhere. I am in the right places every time. I hear someone ask, but should I also try TikTok and start a newsletter and a podcast and a community? Not yet. Dominate 1 corner, then expand your tent. Acts 1-8 did not say ends of the earth first, Jerusalem first. When the wind of consistency is at your back, Judea opens its doors. When your proof is public, Samaria invites you to borrow their boats. Then and only then does the uttermost carry your name to places your feet have not touched. Lift your voice with me. I replenish. I am present where my people live. My presence is predictable. My land is my list. My partnerships are purposeful. My Whopper is on the right shelves at the right times in the right rooms, because distribution creates presence. And now we cross into the 4th command of commerce, subdue. Presence without control is exposure without authority. Next, we will talk about setting the standards, owning the language, and claiming the shelf space so that when people arrive in your territory, they find your way as the way. Be fruitful. Multiply. Replenish. Prepare to subdue. Now we come to the 4th command, subdue. Genesis 1:28 says, Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, which in the Hebrew carries the sense of bring under discipline, order, to regulate, to establish rule. Listen, in the marketplace, subdue means you become the reference point. You control how the problem is defined, you set what quality looks like, and you fix the outcomes the market expects. Write this down. He who defines the problem wins the budget. She who sets the standard owns the shelf. Isaiah 2-3 declares, For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Law is standard. Word is language. Subdue is when your law and your language govern your category. Language is leadership. In the beginning was the Word, John 1:1. And in Genesis 2:19-20, God brought the creatures to Adam to see what he would call them, and whatever Adam called each, that was the name thereof. Authority follows naming. When you name it, you frame it. When you frame it, you aim it. When you aim it, you claim it. Say it. I will name my world. Stop renting vocabulary from trends. Coin terms that make your invisible mechanism visible. If your Whopper is first 7 days ritual, publish activation debt as the name for the cost of unclear onboarding. Define promise compliance as a single metric of day 7 success. If your Whopper is fine fixed flow, coin desk drift to define micro dysfunctions that accumulate at a workstation and mobility return as the value recovered in 7 days. If your Whopper is Vox close, named silence friction as the drop caused by delayed voice response, and verdict window as the golden 47 minutes after prospect's last message. Publish a glossary. Habakkuk 2:2 still stands. Write the vision. Make it plain. Plain words become shared standards. Then set the standard. Subdue means you publish the spec sheet of your category. 1 Corinthians 14:8 says, "For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle?" Uncertain standards create confused markets. Write this down. Quality must be measurable or it is negotiable. If you own onboarding, set the ritual standard. Day 1, promise, delivered within 29 minutes. Day 3, micro behavior adoption above 60%. Day 7, promise compliance at 80% or refund the fee. If you own desk health, set the flow standard. 2-degree range of motion increase per day for 7 days. 5-minute protocol adherence logged at 90% by Friday. Reported pain scale reduced by 3 points. If you own voice-based closing, set the Vox standard. Reply latency under 9 minutes during verdict windows. 7-message arc compliance at 100% before price is named. Voice-to-text ratio of 60:40 by day 3. Publish it. Put your standard where buyers can see it and competitors must sweat to meet it. Proof must be tied to your mechanism, not to your charm. Matthew 5:16 commands, "Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works, not your good words, and glorify your Father." That means public proof. Create a category scorecard with benchmarks that echo your language. The ritual score is 0-100 with sub-scores. Promise, clarity, action, compliance, obstacle removal, next step, momentum. The flow index rates posture, baseline, microflow consistency, ROM change, workday pain drift. The Vox rate reports, verdict, window, response, objection, reframing, close velocity, refund prevention. Demos must not be theater, they must be tests. Host a monthly open audit where you score 1 volunteer live using your standard. Show the before, after metric, and post the raw artifacts, checklist, timestamps, range of motion clips. Romans 12:17 urges us to provide things honest in the sight of all men. Honesty in markets is metrics tied to method. Now hear this correction. Testimonials without a mechanism are flattery. She was amazing. It's entertainment. Promise compliance rose from 42% to 83% in 14 days. Using ritual steps 2-4, and the obstacle script is subduing. Collect praise that confesses your process. The who, the before, the name steps, the after with numbers, and the artifact that proves it. That way, when others quote you, they also quote your language. Write it down. Make it hard to talk about the problem without using your words. To subdue, you must also build moats, ethical moats. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, motivated by a vision, produced by a sense of purpose. Our moats are not tricks, they are trust scaffolds. First, community. Create a guild around your standard, a ritual operators guild, a fine fixed flow circle, a Vox verdict society. Inside operators share dashboards, wins and fails. But all roads lead back to your law and language. Second, certification. Paul told Timothy to commit truth to faithful men who shall be able to teach others also. 2 Timothy 2. Build a certification that requires demonstration of your benchmarks, not attendance, but adherence, so a certified pro carries your quality into territory you will never walk. Third, proprietary process and data. Standardize your checklists and collect anonymous outcomes into a data set. After 1,000 ritual cycles, publish the state of day 7, an annual report that sets industry expectation. After 10,000 decimeters, verdicts publish voice wins, revealing that 67% of wins happened within 11 minutes in B2, BSAS between 1 and 4 p.m. local time. Data is a castle wall. Fourth, integrations. If your method touches CRM, RIS, or wearable devices, build templates, scripts, and connectors so your standard becomes the easiest path. When your way plugs in everywhere, buyers stop experimenting. Fifth, brand trust. Proverbs 22:1 teaches, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. Write a quality chart of what you do, what you won't do, refund policies, privacy policies, expected outcomes, and grievance processes. Publish it. Keep it. That charter is a moat deeper than discounts. Let me give you a parable from our house. After Amara set the ritual standard, she launched the Ritual Operators Guild with a weekly promise clinic. Every Thursday, 2 brands submitted their day 1 promise and she scored them live on the Ritual scorecard. She certified 12 operators in 3 months, each required to hit 80% compliance in 2 supervised accounts. She integrated a Ritual template pack into 2 help desk platforms and released Stated of Day 7, which 19 newsletters quoted using her language. When a competitor pitched vague customer love, clients asked, what's your promise compliance rate? The competitor had to borrow her words to sell, meaning he was playing on her field. That is subduing. Javier, with Vox Close, instituted a verdict window Friday, live voice note rewrites within 9 minutes, recorded with timestamps. He published the Vox Charter. No pressure tactics, no deception, clear opt-outs, and required every certified closer to sign it. He built a simple CRM integration that displayed the verdict window countdown in a sidebar. Within 60 days, 3 founders began asking candidates in interviews, what's your current Vox rate? The category began to believe the metric he defined, that is subduing. Hear me, this is critical. Subduing is not bullying, it is standard bearing. You are not squeezing a market, you are serving it by removing confusion. You are giving language to pain, measures to progress, and laws to protect people from mediocrity. Tell your neighbor, I don't manipulate, I legislate excellence. Isaiah says, out of Zion shall go forth the law, let your work become that law. Now, what must you do this month? Write your category constitution, 1 document that includes your glossary, your 3 non-negotiable benchmarks, your scorecard, your certification path, your demo calendar, your charter, and your integration targets. Publish a public standards page on your site where prospects, partners, and press can see your law. Schedule 1 monthly open audit and 1 quarterly state of report. Rename any vague promise using your glossary. Require every case study to confess your mechanism. Say it. I own the language. I set the standard. I prove the promise. And here is the promise of the sequence. When you produce fruit, multiply it into a system, replenish the territories that matter, and then subdue by owning language, standards, and proof dominion becomes inevitable. You don't have to beg, discount, or perform. The market calls you first because your way is the way. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue. Prepare. Next, we will talk about dominion. When your name becomes shorthand for the solution and your whopper is the default order in your category. Dominion. Genesis 1:28 does not end at subdue. It concludes with a crown and have dominion. Hear me, dominion is not noise, it is norm. Dominion is when your name becomes shorthand for the solution, when your whopper is the default order, when the market organizes itself around your way. Write this down. Dominion is recognition, not exhibition. Others call you first, quote your words, and structure their budgets to meet your standard. What does dominion look like on Monday morning? Inbound demand. Isaiah 60:3 says, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light, and kings to the brightness of thy rising. You don't chase. Light attracts. Premium pricing. Proverbs 22:29 declares, seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. Kings do not ask for discounts, they ask for dates. Referral gravity. Your clients evangelize without commissions because your fruit solved their hunger. Category authority. People People describe others by you. She's the Oprah of compliance. He's the Vox of founder DMs. They're the ritual of onboarding. Write that down. Comparisons are confessions. Dominion creates the metaphor. This is first in mind economics. The mind is the shelf. The one who is first in the mind is paid first from the budget. The rest fight for leftovers. When two offers feel the same, price becomes the referee. When one offer owns the category, value sets the fee. Say it. I refuse to be interchangeable. You did the work. Fruit, multiply, replenish, subdue. So you will not perform tricks to be noticed. You will not beg to be booked. You will not discount to be loved. You will announce your standard, deliver your proof, and rest while your light goes to work. Let me show you the indicators so you can test your crown. First, repeat purchase without bribery. They come back because your mechanism is a habit, not a hype. Second, vocabulary adoption. Your glossary becomes their daily speech. When a founder says in a meeting, "What's our promise compliance?" that is dominion. Third, peer citation. Others teach with your slides, quote your names for things, and footnote your scorecard. Fourth, compounding across industries. Your framework jumps from DTC to SaaS to healthcare without you selling it. The fruit carries its own seed. Fifth, press and platforms. Journalists call you to define the story. Conferences anchor their agenda on your sequence. Job listings. Request your certification by name. Write it down. Dominion is when strangers enforce your standard. Our house has seen this. Amara's ritual standard pushed an industry to count what they used to guess. Within 6 months, 3 CRMs added promise compliance as a custom field in their templates. 2 agencies required a ritual certified operator on every onboarding project. She raised her fee, no apology, and the pipeline grew because kings prefer the maker of the measure. Javier's Vox rate became a hiring filter. Founders posted, "Submit your Vox rate in the application." He was not the noisiest. He was the norm. That is dominion, when your private conviction becomes public expectation. But listen to me as a father. Dominion amplifies you. If you are a manipulator, dominion becomes a trap. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, motivated by a vision, produced by a sense of purpose. If your motive is greed, the platform will expose it faster than obscurity ever could. Proverbs 11:3 warns, "The integrity of the upright shall guide them, but the perverseness of transgressors shall destroy them." Keep your charter, keep your law, keep your love. Deuteronomy 8:18 reminds us, "It is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant." Wealth is for covenant, not ego. Write this down. Dominion is stewardship of standards for the good of people. Dominion does not arrive without examination. Every true vision will be tested. James 1-3-4 says, "Knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have her perfect work." You will face resistance competitors mimicking your words without your work. Slow seasons, winter months when fruit takes root in silence. Criticism, blogs that call your standard too strict, forums that mock your glossary. Galatians 6-9 says, "Be not weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not." Dominion belongs to the finisher, not the starter. Say it. I outlast confusion. I endure contradiction. I reap in due season. How do you protect your crown? Stay small in heart while you grow large in influence. Keep the morning discipline that births your mastery. Tiger did not stop at one championship. He outtrained himself at 4 a.m. Keep your audits public. Honor your law. Keep your list your land. Serve your flock before you court the crowd. Keep certifying others. Multiply faithful men and women who carry your quality. 2 Timothy 2:2. Keep repenting quickly. Correct errors in public. Trust is currency. Keep learning. Proverbs 1-5. A wise man will hear and will increase learning. Write this down. Dominion dies where complacency lives. Now receive this correction with love. Stop trying to be mystical about dominion. It is predictable when you obey the order. Be fruitful. Make real fruit. Multiply. Turn it into a system. Replenish. Place it where your people live. Subdue. Become the standard. Then have dominion become the default. That is why some brands are paid before proposals are written. Their names are already in the budget. That is why some leaders are invited before themes are chosen. Their words define the theme. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. Your gift, refined into fruit, multiplied into a system, distributed into territory, enforced with a standard, makes the room into your room. Lift your voice and declare, I will not beg, I will not discount, I will not perform, I will inspire, I will standardize, I will steward. I am first in mind for the problem I was born to solve. My name is shorthand for the solution God trusted me to build. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. And now, because kings require clarity, we will write it plain. We will craft your Whopper statement so the market can know in one sentence what you are the first choice for. Now we write it plain. Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. Your Whopper is not poetry. It is a contract with the market. Take your pen. Here is the sentence frame. Fill it with precision. I am the first choice for specific people who need precise problem. Delivering measurable outcome in clear time frame through named mechanism so they avoid common pain and achieve standard you set. Write it. Do not use clouds. Use numbers, time, and names. If you write, I help teams on board better, that is soup, tighten it. We deliver 80% promise compliance by day 7 for B2B SaaS onboarding using the ritual standard. If you write, I improve DMs, that is vapor. Tighten it. Founders raise their Vox rate to 60% within 14 days using the 7-message arc with sub 9-minute verdict responses. Now, look at your sentence. Cross out every vague word, better, more, faster, great. Replace them with a metric, a time, and your named method. This is law, not lyrics. Say it out loud. I am necessary. I am a producer. I will deploy my gift. I will master my domain. Again, let it break intimidation off your tongue. I am necessary. I am a producer. I will deploy my gift. I will master my domain. Leadership is the capacity to influence others through inspiration, not manipulation, generated by a passion, motivated by a vision, produced by a sense of purpose. And now we add, expressed in one sentence, the market can run with. Your sentence is the spearhead of your dominion. Now we move from paper to production. For the next 7 days, you will ship fruit, not admire seed. Day 1. Publish your Whopper statement publicly. Put it on your home page, your profile, your email signature. Let the world judge you by your standard. Day 2. Teach your mechanism in one clear piece of content, 10 minutes, that reveal the spine of your method. Show the steps. Show the glossary. Show the scorecard. The world doesn't eat seeds. The world eats fruit. Give them a bite of your fruit. Day 3. Launch one simple low-friction offer that embodies your Whopper. If you are ritual, offer a day 7 sprint for one team. If you are Vox, offer verdict window setup for a founder's inbox. Price it with dignity. Scope it to win and promise your measurable outcome. Day 4. Enroll one paying client or 3 pilot users. Stop waiting for a crowd faithful and little proceeds ruler over much. Luke 16:10. Day 5. Deliver the outcome using your checklist. No theater-only standards, timestamps, and the artifact trail. Day 6. Collect one testimonial that confesses your mechanism, the who, the before metric, the name steps used, the after metric, and the artifact link. Not she's amazing, but promise compliance rose from 46% to 82% in 7 days using ritual steps 1-4. Here is the dashboard. Day 7, tighten your Whopper statement using the data you just produced. Adjust the metric, refine the time frame, clarify the avatar, then publish a mini standards page with your glossary and one benchmark. This 7-day cycle is how dominion begins fruit, not theory. Write this down. If you don't deploy yourself, you will be employed by someone else's vision. Employment is honorable, but theft is when you bury seed. Heaven gave you to feed nations. Deuteronomy 8:18. It is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant. Power unused decays into dependence. Dominion does not come to the talented, it comes to the shipped. Your whopper becomes a habit in the market only when you become a shipper in the week. Stop negotiating with fear. Fear invoices with interest. Announce your standard. Teach your steps. Offer your fruit. Deliver your proof. Tighten your sentence. Repeat. Let me give you courage with two witnesses from our house. Amara's first sentence was fog. I help teams start right. After this moment, she wrote, we deliver 80% promise compliance by day, 7 for B, 2B SaaS onboarding using the ritual standard. She published it, taught the 3 ritual triggers, sold at $2,500, day 7 sprint, delivered 83% in 6 days, posted the dashboard, and her inbox filled not because she shouted, but because her fruit spoke. Javier's early line said, I close deals with voice. He tightened it too. Founders raised their Vox rate to 60% in 14 days using the 7-message arc with sub 9-minute verdict responses. He recorded a 1-2-minute teaching, offered a $1,500 verdict window setup, raised a client from 38% to 61% in 11 days, posted the timestamps, and the word Vox rate entered job listings. That is the difference between seed talk and fruit proof. Now lift your voice with me as we commission your hands. Say it. I am necessary. I am a producer. I will deploy my gift. I will master my domain. Say it. Be fruitful. Multiply. Replenish. Subdue. Have dominion. Say it again with conviction. My whopper is written. My whopper is built. My whopper is shipped. My whopper is standardized. Kings will come to the brightness of my rising. Isaiah 60:3. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. Proverbs 18:16. I am the first choice for the problem I was born to solve. When I return in a season, I do not want to see notebooks. I want to see orchards. I want to click your standards page and see your glossary and your scorecard. I want to attend your open audit and watch you measure what others guess. I want to hear your clients use your words in their boardrooms. I want to see invoices paid at your price because your standard ended the debate. And I am not naive. I know winter comes. James 1-3-4 reminds us that the trying of your faith works patience. Let patience finish her work. There will be quiet weeks. Keep producing. There will be critics. Keep proving. There will be copycats. Keep standardizing. Galatians 6-9, do not be weary in well-doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. Stay small in heart. Stay large in discipline. Keep your morning mastery. Keep your public audits. Keep your charter clean. Dominion belongs to finishers. I speak courage to your seed. May God breathe upon your sentence. May your mechanism be made plain. May your first 7 days be filled with favor and fruit. May your standards protect your clients and embarrass mediocrity. May your name become shorthand for the solution you steward. Now go write it, say it, build it, ship it. The market is hungry and heaven already gave you the tree. Be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, have dominion. And when they ask where you learned this, tell them, Genesis 1:28 was always a business plan. Now execute it until your whopper is the default order.